Welcome to the 2016 Assets and Opportunity Scorecard, the leading source for data on household financial security and policy solutions. Here, you can find 61 outcome measures and 69 policies that we think lead to financial security for families. Today, we'll take you on a virtual tour so that you know exactly where to find the information you need. We'll explore the home page, state pages, policy pages, outcome measures, and custom reports and graphics. Let's dive in. This is the home page. It is the main page to access all of the information and data you'll need from the scorecard. You can return to it at any time by clicking the scorecard logo at the top of the page. There are many different ways to access the information you need. Want something by state? Click on the main map, or the Data by State tab at the top. You can also hover over the map on the sidebar at the left and click on a state there. Want something by issue? Click on the Issue Area buttons below, the Data by Issue tab at the top, or again, the sidebar to the left to select from a drop-down menu featuring all of the outcome and policy pages for each of the 5 issue areas. A note about the sidebar. The sidebar will remain at the left of the screen on every scorecard page for ease of navigation. It will also allow you to share links, access information on the Assets and Opportunity Network, and switch over to data featured in our local data center. We'll start by looking at the features by state. From the home page, we'll click on Minnesota for our example today. You'll see the state's overall outcome and policy ranks here at the top. We've also ranked states in each of the issue areas for both outcomes and policies. Also in this top bar, you can click this button on the right to access additional information about the Assets and Opportunity Network in Minnesota. The main source of information is found on each issue tab, and see all of the state's data on outcomes and policies in each of the 5 issue areas. Every outcome and policy measure is clickable and will take you to the page for that measure. We'll go into those pages in more detail in just a minute. Wondering how to share this great information about Minnesota? Returning to the state page, these buttons will allow you to download a copy of a press release on Minnesota's scorecard data, as well as download a profile of Minnesota containing all of the state's outcome and policy data. And these links allow you to create and download other customizable reports and charts. Let's check out Minnesota's state profile. When you click on the download button at the top of the page, it will bring you to the page where you can customize and download a report containing all of the state's outcome and policy data and information on the Assets and Opportunity Network in that state. You can customize the report by selecting up to 4 outcome measures and 4 policy measures to feature on the front page of the profile. I selected some measures to highlight by default, but you can choose from measures across any of the 5 issue areas. Click Download, and a PDF of the state profile will be created for you to save and print. Wondering how to explore a specific policy? Starting from the home page, select a policy from the 69 policies included in the scorecard. You can do so by selecting an issue area from the Data by Issue drop-down menu at the top, selecting a policy directly from any of the issue area buttons on the sidebar, or click on an issue area below the map. Let's select Financial Assets and Income and go from there. Once you click on an issue area, it will lay out links for all of the outcome and policy measures in that area. For this demo, we're going to select Asset Limits and Public Benefits Programs. This page is designed to provide you with the essential detail on the policies themselves, information on how CFED assesses states, data on state action on the policies, and additional resources for further information. To the right of the overview on each policy, we provide a map of state action or policy adoption. On pages that contain multiple policies, you will see multiple maps for each policy. You can click the buttons below the map to see the different policies represented. You can also download these maps as images in our custom graphics section, which I'll demonstrate later. The table below lays out all of the data for each state. States either receive a check or an X for whether they have adopted a policy or not. If additional data are available relating to how the states were assessed on a given policy, that information is displayed in the column to the right of the policy. Be sure to check the footnotes for additional information about the policies or the states and the source of the data. You can also view footnotes by hovering over the footnote number. Click through the other tabs on the page for more details about how states are assessed, a summary of what other states have done, and additional resources including, for some policies, case studies of policy action and advocacy in particular states. As on the state pages, there are a few helpful buttons to point out on the top. Here you'll find custom reports and graphics buttons, as well as a button to download a policy brief that you can print and share. Let's explore the outcome measures. Starting at the home page, this time we're going to look at an outcome measure, and I'm going to choose income poverty by selecting it from the sidebar. As with the policy pages, the outcome pages contain an overview of the data and additional information for all 61 outcome measures assessed in the scorecard. They also present various ways to visualize the data through tables and charts, as well as detailed source information. You'll also notice a feature that remains present throughout the scorecard pages that once you select a particular state to look at, as we did with Minnesota, that state's data will be highlighted on the tables and charts going forward. It will also be featured in the call-out boxes at the upper right of all of the outcome pages. You can change the state that's highlighted at any time by selecting another from the drop-down menu on the outcome measure pages or visiting that state's page. As on the policy pages, below the text, you'll find a table with the state-by-state data and ranks. The tables can be sorted by clicking any of the column headers. If you click through the tabs, you can also see the data organized by a chart with your state highlighted. That can be sorted either by best to worst outcome or alphabetically by state name. The next tab provides a map of the state data, and if you click on the menu bar in the top right corner of the map or the chart, you will find that you can download image files of these graphics to use in presentations or online. Where possible, we also include data on trends for each measure so that you can see how your state has changed over time. A new tab that we've added this year for 18 outcome measures, where we were able to obtain this information, of course, is our Data by Race tab. The tab presents data for all of the states and DC for that measure disaggregated by race. The last thing I'll point out is the presence of the now familiar Custom Reports and Graphics buttons at the top of the page. Let's take a look at those now and see what's there. Wondering how you create custom reports and graphics? You can access this page by clicking on the buttons on the sidebar or through the link in the Resources drop-down menu at the top of the site. This page contains all of the customizable reports and graphics you can create with the scorecard data. Select any state or data measures you'd like to highlight or visualize in reports, and you are on your way to having great graphics to include in your own documents and presentations. Among these reports are the state profile, which is a good report to use if you want to see how your state fares across all of the scorecard measures and who in your state is leading on these issues in our Assets and Opportunity Network. If you'd like to show how a state is doing on only its policies or only its outcomes, you can also download policy or outcome profiles. One new report we've added this year is the Racial Disparity Report. This report allows you to display for any state up to 7 of the outcome measures for which we now have disaggregated data by race in a 2-page document that contains descriptions of the data measures and graphics of disparities among racial and ethnic populations within your state. Going back to the Reports and Graphics page, I also wanted to highlight the various charts and graphics that you can also customize for your state or various measures. You can create graphics in which you compare your state to up to 4 other states, say your neighboring state on a particular outcome measure. You can also create charts of how your state has changed over time on particular measures compared to the U.S. and up to 4 other states. This year, we've updated the policy adoption maps that allow you to download images of all the maps you can see on the policy pages. We've also added the racial disparity charts that allow you to download an image file version of the disaggregated race data that's also available in the Racial Disparity Report. Curious about media resources to talk about all of this great stuff in the scorecard? If you take a look at our newsroom pages, you'll find on our Media Resources page several additional infographics, as well as marketing tools that are also available for you to download. Unlike those on the Reports and Graphics page, these resources are not yet customizable by state. On the home page, on the right side, you'll find both buttons linking to this year's main findings report and another link back to the Custom Reports and Graphics page. Returning once again this year is a link to our Liquid Asset Poverty Calculator that allows you to see what the liquid asset poverty threshold is for your household size, as well as data on percentage of households in your city, county, metro area, and state with liquid savings below that threshold. New this year is our policy change map. This map visually displays where changes were made on 55 different policy measures tracked in the scorecard. Clicking on a state allows you to see the changes, both positive and negative, that were made. If you'd like additional information on a particular policy that's listed for that state, click it and it'll bring you to that policy page. Just a few additional resources to point out on our Assets and Opportunity Scorecard. At the bottom of the sidebar, as well as at the very left of the menu bar at the top of the site, you'll find links to the Assets and Opportunity Initiative pages. This site, which can also be reached by entering assetsandopportunity.org, connects you to both the scorecard, the local data center, and our Assets and Opportunity network. We strongly encourage you to explore those sites as well when you get a chance. Thank you for joining us, and to learn more about the Assets and Opportunity Scorecard, please feel free to contact us at assetsandopportunity@cfed.org.